I've been avoiding this video for a while, but since I've had numerous requests to cover the original Black Ops for a Is It Still Playable, well, let's just say I've succumbed to that peer pressure. So here you go. If nothing else, it makes my viewers happy in the end, and that, of course, is a huge deal for me. And I'm not going to get into why I didn't want to touch this game too much other than by saying it's far from my favorite Call of Duty out there. At least on this generation of consoles, it ranks very low for me. It's a personal preference thing, really. Most people I talk to regard the original Black Ops to be one of their favorites, and there's nothing wrong with that, but hey, at least it's not Ghosts. So here we are, Call of Duty Black Ops, a game released in November 2010, which makes this almost 12 years old now. Of course, as always, I'll be playing this off of the PS3, so I am unaware of how this still plays on both the PC and the Xbox 360. And truth be told, outside of combat training, I have not touched this game in nearly a decade, so to say that I'm rusty at Black Ops is more than an understatement. Anyway, there is still a halfway decent player base. It's relatively small, but enough to connect to matches easily, at least if you live in North America or the UK. Elsewhere, you may or may not run into problems. The total active players showed at around 1,000 when I started playing, but only maybe 350 were actually in playlists. Like with these older Call of Duties I've covered, Team Deathmatch is what you're most likely only going to be playing. Maybe free-for-all if you're into that, and in the offshoot chance you may even run into a couple matches of a Team TAC, Capture the Flag, or Search and Destroy. But don't bet on it. I did come across a handful of players in the hardcore Team Deathmatch mode, but nothing else. Also, probably not a great idea to install or download the DLC maps unless you're wanting them for the zombie maps. I doubt many people have or are using the DLC maps for the regular multiplayer. In my experience, it's always been way too frustrating and borderline impossible to connect to anyone who does have them installed. So during my time playing this, I did come across quite a few new accounts. However, I have been told by numerous different people that in Black Ops, if you do not already have an established account from however many years ago, your stats and rank will reset every single time you turn the game on. In which case, yes, I would agree that is incredibly annoying. And due to the PS3's new firmware update, I have not messed around with any other account that my PlayStation has because setting it up is way more annoying than it ever should be, and I blame Obama for that. I did not come across too many problems joining lobbies or matches. I would even say that the process was arguably even faster than in the other games I've covered. The connection of Black Ops has always been something that's annoyed me. It's no different than ever before. It's weird. A 3-bar connection in this game feels more like a 2.5, if that makes any sense. I have significantly better internet than I've ever had before, and yet the connection in Black Ops feels absolutely no different than what it was like 10 years ago when my internet was borderline crap. I still get killed well around corners, and then when I watch the kill cams, it shows me well within their sights. Someone told me it was a netcode issue with the game, but I can't validate that. No idea how you even go about it either. So yeah, if you remember the connection and how it was the last time you played it, I doubt it's any different. I played this for a total of 5 hours in the span of 2 days, and in that time, I am sad to report that I did come across a hacker. However, the good news about it is that it only happened once in that time. Now, everyone always claims people are hacking. I get called a hacker all the time for even the most ridiculous reasons. But it's another thing to watch kill cams where the enemy is straight up underneath the map using an aimbot. And of course, because this only happens to me, I recorded 2 hours worth of that 5 hours I played the multiplayer, and this was one of those instances where I didn't have the game capture on. But like I said, thankfully this was the only hacker I came across. So based on that, it seems like hacking in Black Ops is a rare thing. But keep in mind, this doesn't exactly mean that if I were to jump on this game a week or even a month from now, that the lobbies won't be flooded with these guys completely ruining the game for people like you and I. There is one thing that doesn't work anymore in Black Ops. Much like in Black Ops 2, theater mode just doesn't work anymore. Well, I guess technically that's not true. You can view any saved clips or saved matches on your profile, but when you pull up recent games to view footage, nothing shows up. It's just all gone. Unlike Black Ops 2, where the map voting system is completely broken, voting works totally fine in this game, thankfully. What about zombies? Well, I am pleasantly surprised to see that there is somewhat of a player base here, both with the stock maps and DLC. But obviously with the DLC, you'll have much lower amounts of people playing there. But I'd be willing to bet if you are patient enough, you might end up coming across a couple other players wanting to play on maps like Moon or Call of the Dead, for example. Patience is very important with zombies now. Why am I saying that? Well, I had a difficult time trying to get into matches because more than half of the amount of players were dicking around in the lobbies or simply AFK. It was annoying, of course, but once I was able to get into a game, everything was great. I have no complaints or problems to report. So yeah, if you are a zombies player like me and prefer to play with others instead of solo, you may have some issues time to time finding lobbies, but if you are patient, it's absolutely still playable. Of course, that brings us to the part of the video where I ask if Black Ops is still playable on the PS3 in 2022. Well, yeah, I would say it is, unless you are a new user and it does do that reset thing every single time you jump on. That would be a deal breaker for me, because I really don't like any of the starter classes. But if you do have an older account, then yeah, there's really nothing wrong with Black Ops 1. It may not be my favorite, I'll admit, or anywhere close to that for that matter, but I would say it's more playable than half of the other Call of Duty games I've covered, like for example Modern Warfare 3, and unfortunately one of my favorite Call of Duties of all time, Black Ops 2. The connection issues and lag complaints that I talked about, I don't think they are different than normal, and the game modes are pretty well standard for most of these older Call of Duty games. Mostly team deathmatch, hardcore team deathmatch, and perhaps a few chances to play more objective-based modes. During the entire time I played this game, I only came across one hacker, and that might just be a good stroke of luck on my part. It's possible the game is full of them, and I just happened to run into a few good days where there was next to none of them. And that's really all I have to say, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of Is It Still Playable? If you have any suggestions for a new series you might want me to look into in the future, give me a shout in the comments, and we'll see what happens. Thanks again, take care, and I'll see you next time.